Hey, everybody, welcome to not Canary Cry Radio or Canary Cry News Talk. Again, this is not an episode of either of those things. My name is Gons. As you can tell, there's no Basil here, and this is just a quick update, really, to explain what's going on. So, for those of you who may or may not know, Canary Cry Media, the content production, the engine, is this is how it works right now. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we're going live. We often go live 2 to 4 hours per episode, and we cover all kinds of news and stuff going on around the world from a biblical worldview. And recently we started publishing Canary Cry Radio episodes again, but to do so, we integrated it into our normal news talk schedule, which was every other Friday. So as I record this, we're supposed to publish a Canary Cry Radio episode today, which has been in the works for today's episode. It's just not going to happen, at least this time around. And so to stick to the schedule, we'll definitely publish the episode we've been working on here. But just for the sake of publishing something today, that's why I'm here. But don't turn it off yet, because I do have some very important updates. And, as podcasters, and for me, having a YouTube channel, which is now gone, and producing content online for over a decade, there is not just the content we covered, which we've covered so many different topics from a biblical worldview, from a fringy biblical worldview with the Nephilim and the Watchers and, the sons of God and all this weirdness flying around. But it's also been 10 years of documenting my life, in a certain sense, and Basil's life. And we've gone through so many different changes and phases in that 10 years. I have 2 more children. When I started Canary Cry Radio back in 2012, I had a stepdaughter. Now I have a stepdaughter still around and 2 more little ones. So life has changed, and we go through different moments of time, and we get to document some of it, not everything, obviously, but some of it with the show when appropriate. And I think this is one of those examples where I want to just document what's going on, because you never know. You never know when the adventures of Basil and Gons are written. We'll revisit some of these things and think about what the world was like in 2023 around May, where the debt ceiling is near. We're about to hit the debt firmament, and are we going to explode, or is Congress going to bail us out and, drill us a hatch so we don't hit the firmament? Or something, that's the times we're living in, banks failing, stuff like that. So I got a message from Basil. This is the first week of May 2023. So yes, as soon as May Day started, by the way, Illuminati Day, thank you, May Day, May 1st, the Illuminati was founded, the real Illuminati in Bavaria. And ever since that period, the stuff has just been pretty wild. So Basil messages me earlier this week, and I will share some of it. So on May 9th, I received a message that said he's getting his appendix taken out tomorrow. Laughing and crying emoji. I've been to 3 different hospitals. Very exciting. And to which I kind of responded, okay. Yeah, all right. Getting a little procedure done. Are you going to be late to the show? Or, I wasn't really thinking straight. And of course, getting your appendix removed, that can be a situation, depending on how severe the situation is. To which I found out, I didn't hear from him for a little over 24 hours. And so I think we did the Wednesday show this past Wednesday, the 10th of May. And he responded, he said, "Sorry, I was in surgery when you text. Procedure went okay. Slight complications, so they're keeping me at least overnight. Some details I won't share. And then apparently my appendix was in the wrong spot." The wrong spot. His appendix was in the wrong spot. So I was now concerned that Basil's going to be out for weeks, and this is the end of the Canary Cry project. And he said, "I don't think it'll be weeks. I'll know more tomorrow, but at worst, I'll be back Monday, I think." I asked him if his appendix had ruptured, and he said, "Yeah, it exploded I was in full sepsis. So our poor boy Basil is in the hospital, getting his appendix removed because it blew up, which means he probably had appendicitis. And look, I'm not a medical guy. I don't know anything about whatever. So don't listen to me. But this was just the back and forth I was having with Basil. And my mind is blown. I'm going, oh my gosh. We just spoke to Sheila Skiba about the whole, weird stuff that goes on in hospitals. And then he messaged me yesterday, Doc is supposed to give me an update today. And then he said, but even the details are becoming gnarly. Gnarly. I don't know what that means. Gnarly. What do you mean gnarly? This is where the story took a turn, allegedly. I don't know all the details, and Basil will retell the story himself, which I'm sure will add proper detail, proper context. But basically, it turns out that the nursing team that was helping out Basil was doing the exact opposite of what the surgeon said would help him heal and get him out of there. So in 2.5 days of feeling worse and worse with no answers, no advocacy, he demanded to speak to the surgeon, who came in and explained what should be going on with his, after surgery treatment, which was literally the opposite of what the nurses were doing, and saying, like they were trying to keep, this is a quote from him, like they were trying to keep me trapped here. And he said the nurses are just pretending not to understand what's happening. I mean, that sounds to me like a bunch of crazy sci-fi people under a spell of some kind, the medical establishment just hypnotizing the entire nursing staff to be, this is our protocol and we must follow the protocol. And if we don't keep our jobs. So we're going to follow the protocol. And so if a doctor comes in and said, hey, no, don't do that, do this for the treatment, they say, but it is not part of the protocol. And then they just keep doing the protocol, which is hurting the patient. In this case, your best buddy, Basil. So yeah, pretty wild experience. And then it gets into some details about the painkillers and what the details surrounding this whole thing. And so I won't get into that. I'll let him explain everything. But there were legal ramifications. There were certain states by which if he was in, he would be legally bound to the hospital. And it's to him, and I think to anybody who has gone through the last couple of years, it seems like that's their protocol, to keep patients, or get them into the state where there's legal protection to keep the patient there. And then you can get them hooked on some painkillers that only work when you're on him. You take him off, they start, the pain goes crazy or whatever. It gets worse. And here's another weird thing about this whole thing, because obviously this is a spiritual warfare, and this is us experiencing it in our personal lives, just having it affect the actual show. Basil is in a hospital, obviously. He's on the 6th floor of this building in room number 616. So there you go. You have that. And so he started documenting everything, and, he was letting me know a few more details in case something happens. I mean, I hate to say that, but if something happens, we will have to do some serious movement. But Lord willing, that we're not going to have to go there anytime soon. So hopefully he's just going to feel better. He'll get out of there. And, I told him, break out if you have to, man. Just break out. Get out of there. Like the Kool-Aid man, just bust through that wall and run away.
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid.
But there you go. So that's Basil, and that's why he's not here. Now, the reason why I was not able to solo today and just do a news talk episode, or maybe even do a Canary Cry Radio episode, which I had been working on for a few days, just a whole breakdown on Christian nationalism, at least my point of view on it. Not too long. I wanted it to be about 30 minutes or so, looking at some of the aspects of it. I won't get into it here. But as I'm getting ready to put everything together and put the video together and do the whole process, I hear an unwell canine. Cody, my terrier mix, was vomiting everywhere. It was quite the scene. He's about a 25-pound dog. And I'd say maybe 10% of his weight came out. Maybe not that much, but he was struggling. And then we went outside and he's kind of wobbly and he's not looking too good. So took him to the vet, had him checked out. He seems to be okay. He might have eaten something that made him feel queasy. Well, we're back, but that carved out 3-4 hours in the day, which I would have spent putting together the episode. And so instead of having an episode, I'm just doing this now. And I know everybody listening has shown so much grace and support for us that you won't be mad that I'm doing this instead of doing a whole show today. But we'll be back on Monday. And thank you to all the producers. We truly appreciate all of you. You know, we're on the grind. We are independent. You know, we can't just call in a sub, which, you know, there's pros and cons to that whole concept. But these are the bumps and bruises of a podcast that's just out there preaching the gospel, analyzing the world, talking to interesting people, breaking down the news, doing the whole bit, and doing it independently without the help of corporate money, without the help of advertisers, and doing it fully supported by the people. You know, it is sort of a family business, if you want to call it that. That's why I feel incredibly blessed to even be a part of this whole thing. It's truly a huge blessing, and it's all because of you out there watching or listening. And the viewers actually have the producers to thank, because the producers are the ones who are making this happen. You know, we are here doing it, but it's because of the producers that we are able to be here and do it. So, and again, it's kind of like a family business. We're not here to become huge corporate successes and things of that nature. That's not why we're here. We're here to save souls. That's it. You know, and I get it. We can get caught up in different things and the censorship, and it's a grind. And that's what it is. It's a grind. We publish a lot of content. I think we're on 622 or 23 episodes of Canary Cry News Talk. And once we get our rhythm going for radio, we'll catch up. We'll have more Canary Cry radio episodes. And Age of Deceit is coming next year sometime in 2024. No hard dates yet, but 2024, it's definitely going to come out. So there's a lot of content to be made here. And also, the other part of this I forgot to mention, I'm moving. So I'm moving out of Orange County, not going far, going to a county next door. So I'm not going to LA though, not going to LA County, going the other direction. But moving is expensive, and it's mentally draining. It's physically draining, and having a couple kids and just the whole thing is a huge process that's been in the works for weeks. And my lovely wife, who's been doing most of it, I've been kind of just the distraction to let her fully organize the whole situation. But in any case, this is giving me an opportunity to have an office where I live. And for the last 2.5, 3 years, the workstation here has been at my parents' house. So I was using my parents' house as kind of an office. And now the office is moving back into the house. And so, you know, again, it's just a story arc of different times and places where for a while it was just my garage. And then it was the closet. I don't know if people remember the closet. I had like a 2-foot by 3-foot closet where I had my whole rig in there, made a whole documentary in there. I made Age of Deceit in that closet. And so, I mean, it's been wild. And now that, you know, when I went into my parents' office, I had a little bit more room. I had like a desk and everything. And now I'll have the 3rd-car garage in this new house, which gives me about a 9-foot by 15-foot space that I'll be able to furnish and treat a little bit with sound stuff and just make it nice and make it a place where I can actually work more often, especially at night. I can just come in and knock some things out. That's really going to be helpful for my productivity. So that's a huge blessing, and it wouldn't have happened without the producers. Thank you very much to all of you. And I won't go into the whole spiel here, but there's a lot of links that you have to remember, except there's only one link that you should remember, which is canarycry.party. Just remember canarycry.party, and, you know, think of Basil having a party, or, you know, the party in heaven. I was told there was a party in heaven when I was baptized. So I don't know if that's biblical actually, but yes, many people when I was baptized back in 2007, I believe, came up to me and said, "Oh, there's a party in heaven happening for you." And I said, "Oh, amen. All right. Where are those Nephilim at? I want to know more about the Nephilim." So anyway, canarycry.party. Remember that. And then if you have the memory of a memory Olympian, then you can remember all these different ones. Canarycry.art. If you want to submit art, canarycry.report. if you want to submit articles and have a little bit of commentary on them. We may or may not use them, but it's a good resource, and maybe one day we'll make that public as well. Right now, it's sort of just coming to us, and we're filtering it and looking at it and just deciding to use it for the show or not. But that's a place to go if you want to send us some articles or stories. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. It's a place where you can support us monthly in a subscription model. And as a thank you, we send you gifts every quarter. Canary Cry branded material. And starting next quarter is going to be Age of Deceit 1. And the following quarter, Age of Deceit 2. Following quarter, Age of Deceit 3. So that's kind of how we're planning it. And also CanaryCryT-shirtCouncil.com, I believe. I don't even know all the links anymore. I'm losing sight of all the links. But if you go there, you can subscribe monthly again for $19.84 a month. And every quarter, we will send you a t-shirt, which the council shall vote upon. And usually that involves art that was made by a producer. And this is all actually producer done. So come check out all that stuff at canarycry.party. You can also support us with your treasure. We got PayPal, we got Patreon, we got Stripe. We also accept Bitcoin, Ethereum. Somebody even sent us Doge. So, we got all kinds of stuff. You can go to canarycry.support to learn more about that. Okay, I think that's it. Please pray for us, folks. We can really use your prayers. And we know that this is a spiritual battle, and we are going to have our bumps and bruises, and we're going to have arrows thrown at us and literally cut us open and literally be surrounded by scary, murderous sounding nurses or something. I mean, this really could turn into some kind of mythology, or it will feed the Canary Cry lore in terms of Basil going into a hospital. You got these hypnotized nurses trying to keep him there and the whole deal. So anyway, again, pray for us. Pray for the producers who are so awesome in helping us make this show possible, Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk. And thank you to anyone who supported us over the years, whether it's on Face Like the Sun or Canary Cry Radio or The Joyspiracy Theory or Ravel or whatever it may be that we've published over here. Thank you so much. And again, we'll be back. I guess the people who are on the Canary Cry Radio feed, there may be a little more time before the Canary Cry Radio RSS feed gets updated. But for those of you who are on News Talk, which all of you should be on both, but we get it. It's hard. Life is hard. Too many podcasts, too many RSS feeds. I get it. We have two. So there you go. Sorry. getting mad about having two RSS feeds. So anyway, yes, CCNT people, we'll see you on Monday. Have an awesome day. God bless. And remember to think outside the cage.